Right. Now, as mentioned, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me those questions. I'm on the Westlaw UK platform, and you have three different options in which you can access your content. The first option is by searching in specific content. The second option is to search holistically through all the content. And the third is to go to your content by a particular topic. So I'm going to start with the general option. Now, take for example, you are searching for defective goods. So I'm going to now type in my words defective goods, and you could also see predictively it's giving you options on the different types of defective goods, whether it's relating to the sale of goods, whether it's relating to time limits, or just a general defective goods search. I've taken my words and I've placed it within the quotation marks, because I want to search for the word defective and goods as an exact phrase. Hence the reason for the quotation marks. The icon here indicates how you could use those quotation marks along with other terms and connectors. So I'm going to search for defective goods, and before I click on to search, I'm going to choose the all content option, and I'm going to choose the cases and the journals. So I am basically saying I want to search in case law, I want to search in journals, and I also want to search in the topics of contract and in the topics of commercial. And now I'm going to select search. Okay, so whether you are searching for defective goods, insolvency, competition law, any aspect of the law, you just enter in the keywords in the search template. So here is my results, 597 results. Here, as you can see, they're coming through from journals. And as I scroll further down, you will find cases that come through. Now, I could go to the left-hand side of my screen, and I can reduce these 597 results to a particular topic. So I could go in now and say I'm looking at defective goods in terms of consumer protection. So I'm going to select that. And I'm also looking at defective goods in terms of the sale of goods, as well as the breach of contract. So I've selected all of those options. I'm going to select apply, and now I have a filtered set of search results. Okay. And I'm now going to go to the date option, and I'm now going to select information in the last 3 years. So I'm now able to view content in a certain time frame based on a certain topic, and now I have 23 such results. Okay, is everybody comfortable so far? It's all good? Okay, great, great. All right, now let's try something slightly different, all right? I'm going to go to my home page, and you do that by clicking on the logo. You can see me circling the logo here. Click on the logo, and you're going to go back to the home page. So I know I can do a search generally here. Now, if I wanted to search specifically for a case, I could just use this drop down, and I can select any of the options that I choose. I'm going to do a case search. And say, for example, here, we go to the options, and I want to search for a case based on the parties. So you had the name of the case. So I'm going to type it in. And as I start typing, it tells me that these are the cases with the type of parties that I'm selecting. So I've selected it and I've clicked search. So this is applicable if you had the parties' names. Obviously, if you had a citation, you could put that information in as well. So I'm going to select the case by clicking on the name of the case. And here you could see it's giving me the summary of the case. Okay. Now you generally will find the summary in a number of the Westlaw UK cases. If you want to view the full cited case, then you just simply click onto these links right here. So if I select that option, it downloads the PDF file for me, and there is my full case. Okay. Now, on the right-hand side, I have the option to email, to print, to download, as well as I can save to folders and add notes. So all you simply do is you hover over the actual icons and it'll indicate what it is that you can do. Now, on the left-hand side is the analysis of a case. This is very important because it gives you the treatment of the case that you're looking at. Now, when I go to primary reference, it indicates to me other cases that have either applied or considered these cases as authority. So remember, I'm looking at Heath versus Southern Pacific Mortgage as the name of the case. So this is the case I'm looking at. And it's indicating that this case had applied this judgment. Okay. As I go further down, you can see in this particular case here, it was mentioned in this judgment. Okay, so these are the cases that came after, and they either applied, considered, or referred to the judgment of Southern Pacific as authority. So on the left-hand side, under primary references, it's very important because it gives you more information on the case that you're currently looking at. If you go to commentary, it indicates to you where this case was referenced. So if there was a book or a journal or an article, then it will reference that information on the left-hand side of the screen. Now, again, I'm going to refresh my page and it's going to come through to the home page again. Right. Now, if I go back and I do a case search again, because you find yourself on this platform to do, you find yourself conducting a lot of case searches and a lot of journal searches. So I've used the parties as an option. Okay. The other options that you have is you could use a free text option. You could use a citation if you preferred. So it totally depends on you, on the information that you have and what type of content that you would have wanted to add in. Now, if I go to citation, I'm just going to type in here 2006, volume 4, Westlaw UK, and say I was looking at page number 364. Okay, so you could see this is a citation and this will take me directly into the case. So that's how you would type in your citations. Okay, it's the year, the volume, the type of law report, and the page number. Okay, now if you did not have that information, you did not have the parties, and you did not have the citation, you can go to the free text and just type in your keywords. So I've chosen to type breach of contract. I've typed it in, I've clicked search, and now I'm going to get cases pertaining to breach of contract. Right. And then don't forget, you can always filter down your results on the left-hand side of your screen. Right, so I've narrowed it down. These are my search results. The other options that you have are your legislation, your journals, and your current awareness options. Now, I'm just going to ask a quick question here. How often is it that you tend to use the legislation on Westlaw UK? I'm assuming that a lot of you are from the law faculty, am I correct? Yes, okay. So from the law faculty, then you would look at legislation from time to time. You would look predominantly at case law, and you would look a lot at journals. If legislation is either your primary or secondary source, all you do is you come to legislation, select legislation search, and type in the name of the legislation that you're looking for. So as you can see here, I'm typing in consumer credit. And again, predictively, it gives me a list of legislation that may be applicable. So although you have very little information, you will find the results coming through from the website. So here is the Consumer Credit Act. I go through it. Again, I can email, I can print, I can download. The green icon indicates to me that that section is still in force. The red indicates that that section has been repealed. And if I go to the left-hand side of the legislation, it gives me cross-references to either journals or articles written on this particular legislation. Okay. Now, if I go through here and I select one of the sections, I'm simply clicking on the name of the section. It tells me what section 13 reads. It tells me the version of the section. It tells me that it's in force. And when I go to primary references, it'll list a few cases that are relevant to section 13. Okay. Now, if you do wish to download this content, you simply click download here. And you would be able to download the information that you are viewing in a PDF format or in a Word format. If you prefer to save it to a folder, you can do that. You select the folder icon that I'm hovering over. You should have a folder with your name on it. Select it and click Save. And then it'll store under the folders right here, under the folder option right here. Okay. And then if you wanted, you can also make a note on the document itself. If I go one back. So I'm back to my section. And if I wanted to add a note on the document itself, all I do is I just simply highlight what is relevant, select add a note, and click save. So you can go in and add notes on the content itself. Right. Now, there are other options available on the Westlaw UK. We've covered the cases, we've covered the search for a general search option, we've looked at the legislation. You will find yourself using the journals very often. There is a very quick and easy way to access the content in the journals. Okay, so all you can do is go in and you could do a journal search. And here you could go and you can type in information that you require. For example, if I type in constructive dismissal, I'm basically saying I am trying to locate journal articles pertaining to constructive dismissal. I could also select from the full text journals the various journals that I would like to search within. Okay, I'm going to click on to search. And it's now going to bring me a number of journals relating to constructive dismissal. Okay. If I scroll to the left of my screen, I could go to publication. I can search for employment, and I can make a selection of which journals I would like my results to come from. So you could see I've went to publication, I've made a selection, and now I'm going to click on to apply. And my search results for constructive dismissal will only come through from these journals that I've just selected. Okay. Now, there will be times when you are looking for a type of journal. So all you would do is go to publication. So take, for example, you are looking for journals relating to data protection. You could go to the right-hand side in the search engine and then type in the words data protection, and it brings up the data protection journals for you. Everybody still comfortable? Yeah. Okay. Right. Then finally here you would find your current awareness. Current awareness is a service that is up to date and is updated on a daily basis. It provides you with the most recent cases, journals, articles written on various topics. So to access that service, you go to current awareness. You could either conduct a search or you could go to the most recently added content. So I've selected most recently added, and you could see I have 3,405 results that come through. These recently added content can be articles, it could be cases, it could be journals, so a number of different aspects. So take, for example, you are currently dealing with contractual law or employment or environmental law, for example, then you want to maybe know what is the most recent cases published in that area of law. Now, you would go to current awareness, go to most recently added, and then go to the left-hand side of your screen and make a selection. So I'm choosing environment. I'm clicking apply. And then I'm scrolling down my screen. I'm going to document type and I'm selecting cases. So now I've basically am able to view the most recently added environmental law cases. Okay, and there are 13 of them, and this was published on the 12th of September. Okay, now you can also have a look at your EU content from here. So you simply click onto EU, and here you'd be able to conduct the same searches that you did on the cases and legislation. So you're just simply typing in the information you need. If you have access to any of the Westlaw books, then you would select Westlaw books. And you would only view the books that you are subscribed to with the university. So an example would be if you had to go into a particular book, you'd select it, select the country, and then select the content that is relevant to you. Okay. Now, I'm just going to quickly go back to the home screen, and you could see I simply clicked on the drop down and I'm going back to my home screen. Remember, everything I've shown you now is of UK jurisdiction. The last part of this particular website is the browsing by topic. So take, for example, you are in an insolvency class. If you select insolvency, it basically gives you all the various topics that sit within insolvency. And maybe you are dealing with insolvency administration, or you are dealing, for example, with administration or cross-border insolvency. Then all you do is you select that topic. And what we would do for you is we would give you an article relating to insolvency. Then you have a little bit more specific articles, case law that's relevant, legislation that's applicable, and any journal articles. So what we're basically doing at the topics option is you are finding content relevant to that topic, such as cases, legislation, journals, and an article written on that topic. So it's a very quick guide to all of the information that one may need on a specific topic. Okay, so we've covered the search options. I've covered with you the browsing technique where you can find specific content. We know that I can search for cases, legislation, journals, and current awareness, and you can also access your Westlaw books. Okay. Is there anything from your side that you want to ask me before I move on? Okay. Now, you can access your Westlaw Classic from this platform as well. All you need to do is click onto Westlaw International from here. And what it'll do is it'll take you to this particular page, which is Westlaw Classic. Okay. Now, when you get to Westlaw Classic, you would come to your academic library. If it does not automatically direct you to the academic library and it directs you to the international materials, that is fine. All you need to do is go to the right-hand side, select academic library, and you'll be able to see the full content of information that you have access to. Okay. Now, on the previous website, which was Westlaw UK, I basically showed you information pertaining to the UK jurisdiction. Here, the jurisdiction is of US, as well as some information coming through from the United Kingdom, from Hong Kong, from Canada. So it overlaps in certain areas, right? Now here, when you're in the academic library, it indicates to you that you have access to these cases. And then you have access to the following legislation in these jurisdictions, as well as the journals. Now, here again, very straightforward in terms of accessing content. So take, for example, you require certain information from any of the content that's here. For example, say you want to look at case law only. So if I go and I select academic library cases, it's searching my US cases, it's searching cases in other jurisdictions as well. Okay. And if I go in and I type in here, patent infringement, okay. So here you could see my search results are coming through. Okay. It's listed here, the US cases as well as other sources of cases. There's in total 20,000 cases that are coming through. If I wanted to look at the US cases, then I'll go to the left. I will select the US cases now, and I can further narrow it down. So I'm basically looking at patent infringement. I have about 10,000 US cases that are coming through, and I can go in here and I can now look specifically at a state that I may be interested in. Okay, so I can go in and I can choose Florida, for example, or if I wanted, I could go to the federal option and I could choose cases within the courts of appeal. Okay. And then I can simply click onto apply filter and I'm able to view the cases in this category. Okay. Now to view the case, just simply select the name of the case. And here you'd be able to view the case, right? Now, you could also go into the history of this judgment if you wanted to. So by selecting history here, you could see exactly where the case had come from and where it actually is currently. Right. You can see any references pertaining to the case. So if there was any mention of this case in a commentary works, you can see this is a law review, then it'll be made mentioned here under citing references. Now, to go back to your initial screen, again, you can just simply click onto the Westlaw Classic website on the logo itself. You can go to International Materials, Academic Library, and then you're at your home screen. So say let's try something slightly differently now. And I'm looking for cases, and maybe I'm looking for cases under a category. So I'm going to United Kingdom now. And when I'm in the United Kingdom, I'm looking at landlord and tenant law reports. So these are the different sets of law reports that you have. You could see in the UK, these are the different types of law reports. You could also look for information under a topic if needed. So I'm going into landlord and tenant, and I'm going to conduct a search in landlord and tenant for breach of contract. And I'm going to select search. So it's only looking in that set of law reports for me for breach of contract. So these are my cases that are coming through. I can place them in date order if I wanted. And if I select the name of the case, I can view the PDF of the document. And if I go to the right-hand side, select the drop-down, I can email, I can print, and I can download from this platform. Okay, and then I can simply go through and read my case. Now, you can return to your search results here. And if I wanted to go and reconduct a search again through the entire academic library, I can just click on the links. So I'm going to try one by a state. So now I'm looking for cases in the US state. And I've chosen the state of California. And I'm looking now for cases pertaining to intoxication. So you can see it's telling me, are you looking for a particular case? Are you looking for court rules? And if I'm not looking for any of that content, I could just select search. So it's now looking in a particular state for cases relating to intoxication. Okay, and they are all my cases that are coming through. Everybody okay so far? Everybody comfortable? You know how I got to this platform? Okay, you can give me a thumbs up, then I know that you guys are okay. Great, great, great. Right, now let's go back to the academic library. We know how to search for the cases in Westlaw Classic, okay? We know that there's UK cases, we know there's US cases. All we need is either a case name or a keyword. Your legislation here works again very much in the same manner. So if you go in here and I chose UK legislation, I can have a look at the different topics that's available here. If I click onto crime, it's asking me now to conduct a search. So say I was looking for the Criminal Procedure Act. I'm going to type that in and click search. Now remember, it depends on the modules that you are doing, the classes that you're in, whether it's civil procedure, criminal procedure, environmental law, you will still find that content here by simply typing in the search engine. So I just randomly typed in Criminal Procedure Act. I've looked in the UK and it's now giving me all the different sections that may be applicable or rules that may be applicable to the Criminal Procedure Act. Okay, and then if I select this particular rule, what it basically does now, it tells me about the actual rule itself, but I can also go into the content via a PDF document that's right here. Okay, it also indicates to me that this version is still in force and it is current. I go back to my search results. So you can see here it says return to list. And I go back to my academic library. And here you have also the US legislation. This looks slightly different. You can see it's as of the 21st of the 9th. That means you're looking at information that's most current here. And you can go here and have a look at the content and it is listed by title. Okay, so here if I go in and I'm looking at the rules of evidence as an example, I select it and now it gives me all the different rules and provisions that are applicable to evidence. Okay. So each of these search engines are very similar, but when it comes to the legislation, they differ slightly in terms of the manner in which you are accessing the content. Now, as mentioned, you will find yourself doing a lot of case searches and you'll find yourself looking at a lot of journals. There's over 1,000 journals that sit on this platform, okay? So when you go to the journals here, you could see there are journals for Australia, for Canada, there are Hong Kong journals, US, as well as UK journals that are on this platform, okay? Now, if you go in and you look at, say, the US law review journals, right? So you've made a selection. It's now going to say to you, these are the various journals that are coming through here. So you simply going in and you're making a selection of the different type of journals, okay? Or alternatively, if you wanted, I go back to academic library. And if I select the American law reports and I type in here, land registry, okay? And I click search, it's now looking in the American law reports for me for my keyword of land registry. And it's going to give me articles pertaining to land registry, okay? Now, I can also go in here and type in another word. Because this is relating to land registry, I have 7,137 results. I may want to type in the word reform. So now it's searching within those search results, not only for land registry, but also now for land reform. And you can see I have fewer results that are coming through. Okay. And if I wanted, I could just simply place it in date order and it'll give me the most recent journals. Now, in your academic library, aside from the US journals, you also have access to the UK journals directly from here. When you click onto the UK journals, you can see they are very nicely listed on all the various types of journals. If we look at something in construction law as an example, you can see it tells you all of the various top 10 most recent construction law journals that have been published. Okay, so if I go through this list here and I decide I want to look for something a little bit more specific, and I type in construction defect, and I select the search option, it now searches in the construction law journal for construction defects for me. Okay, and now you can see my results are coming through. Okay, now all you do is select the heading. It tells you the law journal it comes from, the heading, who the author is, who the contributors are, and then obviously it gets into the subject area and into the actual article itself. Remember, you can go to the right-hand side of your screen and you can download and email this information if you need to. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my search results and I'm going to go back to my home page. Remember to always bring yourself to the academic library because that's where you can get to see your information. Now, I'm going to just click onto my logo and I'm at the home page. The last item I'm going to show you on the Westlaw Classic is the key number system. So generally you find this when you at the home screen as well. What this does is it gives you various topics and subtopics and cases relevant to that. So if you select topics and key numbers, here you're able to see all the various topics that come through. Okay, so let's say we looked at fraud. You select it, and this now gives you the various elements of fraud, okay, and the various types of fraud. And if I looked at elements of actual fraud, and I'm talking about intent, it'll now list cases that are relevant to intent, specifically relating to fraud. So this is a nice, easy way to get access to case law on a topic as well. Okay, and then here you could see the key site flag. It's in yellow, it's indicating it's a negative analysis. Wherever you see these little icons or flags, click on the key site icon and it'll indicate to you the interpretation of those things. Okay, so now that brings me to the end of the session on the Westlaw Classic. I'm going to stop the recording for now.